The
Yeah.
doubts, the fears, the self-talk, all of that stuff is a virus in your hard drive. No wonder you're not taking the actions.
Yeah.
No wonder you're
Yeah.
not doing the thing. Like, that is the piece where so many people are like, oh, I just need to do the thing. And it's like, you can do the thing, but I can also guarantee you that just by doing the thing and not fixing your hard drive, you're still not going to get the results you want.
Okay. We are live. What's going on, Bri? How you doing?
Hello, good morning. I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Like I said, today is a good day. I woke up this morning, which I don't take for granted as people are filtering in. First, I want to start off by saying, how is the weather out in Oklahoma right now?
It's beautiful. So I actually work in my shed and I have this window open and this window open and that door open. And just I'm one with nature this morning with all the fresh air and the squirrels and the things.
Nice. So you always got the ambiance just all around you, which is awesome. Awesome. Well, I want to let everybody know. So if you could let everybody know who you are and what you do.
Hello, everyone. I am Bri, currently the entrepreneur coach, but in the near future, formerly known as the entrepreneur coach. And we can talk about it today if you want to get into it.
Yeah.
I am a masteress at defying reality. And what I mean by that is I have this innate power of looking at reality and saying, I want this to be different, and being able to make those shifts generally pretty quickly. I just got married last weekend, and our officiant,
congrats.
Thank you. Our officiant made fun of me a little bit in that he said, Bri rebrands herself so fast that I can't even keep up. And I looked at him and I was like, dude, same. I have this powerful ability to shift reality. And what I do is teach other people to do that. So I do it a lot through entrepreneurship. I give a lot of entrepreneurs holistic business insights to help them transform their results and collapse time. One of my clients this year did her annual income in just 3 months, the first 3 months of the year. And that's pretty normal for my clients. They usually 3x or more their businesses while they're working with me or shortly thereafter.
Yeah. And do you primarily work with women or who's your target, just for the audience?
I do primarily work with women, although I work with men as well. I have a new male client signing on today. My messaging tends to be towards women, but I've worked with men through all 10 years of being in business.
Yeah. And is there a certain niche that you work in as well? Like, what kind of entrepreneurs have you transformed?
So I specifically work with ambitious high achievers. So I work with the entrepreneurs that others would say have impossible or unrealistic goals. So the kinds of entrepreneurs I work with want the moon, the stars, the sun, and the entire universe in their hands. And that is what I help them create for themselves.
Awesome. So can we dive a little deeper into this, reality creation, to just for the audience, just to exactly what that means? Can you give us an example of creating our own reality?
Yeah, totally. So for most of us, we look at our lives. I just spoke on a stage a few weeks ago, and I said, does everyone in this room have at least one thing that they wish they were different about their reality? Every single hand went up in the room. Every single hand. And I think oftentimes, especially for those of us that have really, 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 really big visions, we haven't necessarily seen it done before, or we've seen it done before in people that we don't have access to. I don't know about you, but not yet am I calling up Oprah on the regular, right? Or not yet, right? So I think that there becomes this gap between all these people did all these really big things and I have this really big vision, but how am I going to get there? And so a lot of the reality creation that I do in the process I lead people through is, first off, we need to define what your goal is. What is your measure of success? Because I had a podcast for 4 years. I did, I think close to 200 interviews. All 200 people said that they'd been aiming at a definition of success that they got to, and were like, this is it. Like, this isn't how I want to feel every day. So first off, we have to define what success means to you and only you. The rest of the definitions, we don't care about. Second off, the moment you do that, you're going to start to have doubts pop up. We need to eliminate those doubts. We need to get in there. We need to understand the reality of why doubts happen and remove them. The third thing is we need to get in touch with the pathway, right? We need to figure out, like, what are the steps you're taking every single day to make that 1% shift from today to tomorrow, to the next day, to the next day. So many people look at big goals and they think that it's just like going to happen. The truth is that big goals are accumulation of 1% shifts day after day after day after day. So define your success, eliminate doubts, forge your pathway, and then become your future self. You have to start thinking like your future self thinks. You have to start acting like your future self acts. You need to believe the things that your future self believes. You need to breathe like them. You need to dress like them. You need to walk like them. You need to embody everything about who that person is. You know, Oprah is Oprah today, but before she was there in the 80s, she was struggling with her reality just like the rest of us. But a way to close the gap between those two realities is to become your future self. And when you can do that, it's amazing because the world starts to shift around you. I guarantee you the Oprah that asked for that raise and to have her own show back in the 80s was not the Oprah that she had been leading up to that moment, right? Like that was her channeling her future self saying, I know there's more available to me. So that's kind of the process that I take people on. I call it my Defy process, to defy reality. And then, of course, along with the pathways comes, if I'm working with a business owner, business strategy. How do we holistically craft all of the things that are working together as a seamless machine in your business to be able to create those goals that you want?
Yeah, I think that's so powerful. It sounds like a lot of mindset work, which I always tell people that a lot of times it starts here. And that's where most of the work needs to happen, because you have to even just believe that it's possible to even get to reach those goals. And a lot of times people are like striving, like, oh, I wish I could do this. Well, why not just start now? And usually the why not is because of exactly what you just stated, of the doubts, imposter syndrome, fear, all these things in our mind that the self-talk, that negative self-talk that we have. And the more that we can get really clear on that, the more we actually can shape our reality. So I totally understand. And then how you, okay, go ahead.
I think what people misunderstand too is so many people are like, I just need to take action. I just need to do the thing. I just need to hustle. I just need to do the stuff. Well, what do you think is the thing that's control? Like, what do you think the control center is for you to take those actions?
Yeah.
This is your hard drive. If you have a virus on your laptop, what do? Do you keep struggling with the virus to just make your computer work? No. You take your computer to a technician who removes the virus and you get it back so it can work and do the things. The doubts, the fears, the self-talk, all of that stuff is a virus in your hard drive. No wonder you're not taking the actions.
Yeah.
No wonder you're not doing the thing. Like, that is the piece where so many people are like, oh, I just need to do the thing. And it's like, you can do the thing, but I can also guarantee you that just by doing the thing and not fixing your hard drive, you're still not going to get the results you want. So by all means, go do the thing. Let me know how it goes. But most people come back and they're like, oh, I tried to do the thing. And then I only got so far. And then I started stopping myself and self-sabotaging. Well, why do you think you're self-sabotaging?
Yeah.
So
the polluted mindset. I was gonna say even worse than, you're supposed to take it to a technician, but some people, they just wipe the whole thing and start over again.
I mean, to be honest, if I had that option, I don't know about you. I mean, maybe not the whole thing, but man, if I could just start with a clear
Men in Black.
Right?
There you go. There's your next marketing thing. Minute blank.
I'm not saying I wouldn't take it if I had it available to me.
Oh man. Yeah, it's so crazy that oftentimes, and usually, at least definitely the people that I know as well, that they want the outcomes, right? So like you were talking about, hey, we got the whole, business revenue within 3 months of working with you. That's the outcome, that's what they want. So oftentimes it's like, hey, I want to make more money, want more customers, I want to speak more, I want to do more things, in my business, I want to be in a different position in life, I want to be more financially set, whatever that is. But oftentimes you got to take a few steps back to actually get your mindset working. And also I believe too, about being around the right people. So that's the other
100%.
thing. It's probably the first time ever when they work with you that they're ever getting that kind of coaching, reassurance, direction, really kind of picking apart what's going on, like, ever in their lives.
Well, and for a lot of my clients, I'm the first person in their life not to tell them that their dreams are crazy or that their dreams are impossible or that they shouldn't quit their day job. Like,
Yeah.
I am that person in their lives for a lot of people who just don't have big goal energy humans around
Yeah.
them. Like, that's my job, is to breathe possibility and, I believe, inevitability into my clients. It's interesting that woman that I mentioned who did her annual revenue in the first 3 months of the year, I asked her, I said, what do you think it was that shifted? Was it the strategy? Was it like, what was the thing that
Hmm.
helped you collapse time like that? And she said that she had not been seeing her business as a business.
Wow.
And that what shifted in her was that in working with me, she became an entrepreneur. And she embodied that future self that she saw in her dreams. And oddly enough, I just caught up with another client who just like upended her entire life, left her life in Michigan, moved to the coast in San Diego.
Yeah.
And she said to me, she's like, I haven't talked to her in a few years. And she said, do you know the thing that you did with me that helped me change more than anything? It shook my entire life to its core, was the future self work. She was like, because I saw my future self and I knew that what I was aiming for was possible then.
Hmm.
And then the question became, every single day I had to wake up and begin to see life through her eyes. I had to make decisions like she made decisions. She's like, my past self would never have just up and moved to San
Right.
Diego with an
Right.
entirely full house of stuff still in Michigan, right? Like, she's like, my past self never would have done that. But if I want to be that woman that I saw in my future, I had to start making different decisions. And she's like, 2 years ago, that's what you gave me. And it was the smallest thing. It was just
Yeah.
a little meditation you sent my way. And she goes, it changed everything about my life.
Wow.
And I think a lot of people do come to me and they're like, just give me the strategy. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I can give you the best strategy in the world. Like, I am skilled at doing, I can give you the best strategy that will help you make all the money in the world. And if you don't believe it's possible for you, if you don't believe success is available to you, I had a client who came to me and I kept giving her strategy after strategy after strategy after strategy. And at the end of our work together, she goes, my mom told me that it's what did she say? Vain or selfish to want success.
Ah.
And I was like, oh shit, like, I wish I
Yeah.
had known that 3 months ago, because
Right.
no wonder none of the strategies worked.
Yes.
You're
After
literally
every session, she's going back and talking with her mom and being like, just like, you probably took her up to here, right? And then after every session, just like going back down. And that's crazy. And like all the work that you had done, but you had no clue that was it, which happens to a lot of people. That's why I'm the big believer in change your circle, change your life. It's
yeah.
because of the people that you surround yourself with. They also have to boost up your beliefs and the direction also that you're going, and help guide you there, support you, advocate, sponsor, whatever it is, mentor. you into that direction in your life that you're going to, because you can do all the work yourself. But then if you're around a certain type of people, it's like, it's hard. It's really hard to break free.
And that's part of why I like doing group experiences as well. Most everything, I do very little one-on-one, very
Okay.
little. I mostly run masterminds and groups. And part of the reason is I learned last summer, I was looking for a good metaphor, because I was like, the butterfly thing, like, yeah, we're caterpillars, we're becoming butterflies, whatever. Everyone talks about that. So I was like, what is another example of this like transformation or this expansion, right? And I came across hermit crabs, which I had grown up with hermit crabs, like, but in an atrium or aquarium or whatever. And when they needed a bigger shell, they would just drop their shell and get a bigger shell, right? Like that's just how it worked. Well, I learned that in nature, if a hermit crab just drops its shell, one of two things is going to happen. One, it's going to be baked by the sun, or two, it's going to be eaten by a predator. So what hermit crabs do is that they line up, a bunch of them get together, all different sizes, and they line themselves up from smallest to largest, plus one additional larger shell. And so the biggest one gets into the new empty shell, and then they just like one by one get into
just swap each other's.
Literally, which is so brilliant. And they help each other into the shells so they don't get baked alive and they don't get eaten. And so that's so much of how I see the groups I facilitate is like, yeah, we're all in our own thing. We all have our own strategies. We're all like on our own paths, but we're all helping each other into that bigger shell together. Yeah. And it is so hard as a solo entrepreneur, especially one that has a family around them telling them it's bad to be successful, or you can't make money from being a business owner, or, you know, like whatever all those stories are. It is near impossible. You're going to get eaten by a predator or baked by the sun, period.
Yeah.
So why not give yourself the opportunity to succeed in a container where all these other people are helping each other into their bigger shells? And I would add that to the woman who did her annual revenue in 3 months, was being around other women and seeing them do it for themselves as well, that they all leveled up together because they were using the momentum that the entire container had created. Yeah. So being around the right people is 100% and like non-negotiable ingredient for success.
Yeah, you have to have it. You have to, because there's going to be moments that you're not going to want to continue. And it's going to be somebody that just maybe believes in you a little bit more than you believe in yourself at the very moment. That's just going to tell you to keep going. And that's going to be the decision factor of you going forward and keeping on, or just reverting back and going right back to what you're used to.
I will say, as someone, I've been an entrepreneur for 17 years. I started my first business in 2007. I had one of those moments in May, right? So just 5 months ago, 6 months ago, I had one of those moments. And what I did was I reached out to my circle. I reached out to 3 of my very good friends, and I was staying with my sister at the time. And I was like, she doesn't get it. I love my sister so much, but no one around me was entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
My mom had a business, but it was definitely like different from what I'm trying to do, and people that just don't really understand, which is fine, no judgment. But I had to reach out to the 3 women around me that I knew would say, this is a temporary blip. This is the reason you're experiencing this agitation. Like, this is what you need to do to get back into alignment. And they breathed truth back into me. And, you know, a month later, I could be like, oh, thank God I have them in my life. Yes. Like, one of them is coming to my house tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. to help me with something, right? Yeah. Like, thank God I've surrounded myself with these people, because I don't know if I would still be an entrepreneur if I hadn't.
Yeah. You need it. They're the backbone, the backbone of everything. I've definitely been there myself many times, been doing this nearly a decade. And you constantly, even with the success, you second guess a lot of what you do. So actually, this is probably a good transition point. So you said that this is the former entrepreneur coach. Can you share maybe this 5 months ago thing had something to do with this? Can you share, I guess, what should we call you now?
I know, right? I've actually been playing with this. I was on
The
ChatGPT.
hermit coach. No, just
The hermit coach. So I will say that this has been coming since about April of last year, 2023. I did a 7-day meditation retreat, and it very lovingly dropped a bomb in my life. And it was almost like a bomb dropped, and everything in my life went flying up into the air. And for the last 18 months, it's been like reconfiguring and moving and floating and like reorganizing itself back into my reality. And I've gotten glimpses of it. I did redo my website in April of this year, but I'm getting ready to redo it again. And what keeps coming to me is that, like, I'm here for so much more than just business. Like, I am here to help individuals truly shift their realities. Is business part of that? 100%. Yes, it always is. I love business strategy so much. I'm not letting go of that. But I kept feeling like becoming the entrepreneur coach, and part of the reason it happened was because I was the top search ranking on Google for many years, for like 5 years.
Yeah.
And it helped me so much in those 5 years. And now it feels like a sweater that has shrunk to like 5 sizes too small. And I'm like, okay, if I'm in this like really tight sweater that feels like I can't move and it feels like it's suffocating me, but I can see this other like brand new, beautiful sweater that's like roomy and spacious and like high quality silk and whatever, am I going to choose to keep on the sweater that's suffocating me? Or am I going to choose to step into the sweater that is my expansion? And so that's kind of what I've committed to. And here's the hard part. And I'm a deeply spiritual person. I'm very intuitive. I like follow the nudges and the, I don't know, the hints and the breadcrumbs that are laid out before me. I don't fully know what this looks like yet. And this is the part that I think a lot of people avoid because it's messy, right? Like we talked about earlier, you said earlier, everyone wants the cake. And everyone's okay with like looking at the recipe and being like, oh my gosh, I'm going to make this delicious cake. But when you're in the middle of it and you've got broken eggshells all over and flour all over the counter, and it looks like, a bomb of sugar went off in your kitchen and your dog's at your feet, like licking up the peanut butter you dropped on the floor. And like, it looks like a freaking mess, right?
Yeah.
But that's what it takes to bake a cake. So I don't think I'm in the middle of that process. I think I'm nearing the end of that process, but I'm still in the messy middle. And I do not have 100% full clarity on what this means and what this looks like and how to SEO my new site. And like, it's coming together. I think last week I have settled on the new title of success coach.
Okay.
Because that's really what I've talked about for the last 4 years is like, what does success mean to you? How do you shift your reality to become in alignment with that vision of success? How do you trust that vision of success? How do you build it? What are the tactical nuts and bolts that you need to do and take in your business? How do you set up that holistic ecosystem in your business to therefore achieve that level of success you're looking for? So it's a little nebulous right now. It feels a little too vague, but it's where I'm starting, and we'll see how it unfolds.
Yeah. Are you thinking about, since you said you may go and not just do it in the realm of business, are you thinking of just helping individuals out, just period, just like, hey, that's anybody that's trying to recreate their reality, that's the type of people you would work with? Because I know with business, at least there's an outcome, right? There's hey, if you help me change my mindset, unlock, and change my reality, that can also change my business, which can change the revenue. And like, there's real outcomes, that you can point to. And like you started off with this podcast, of like, hey, your whole annual revenue in 3 months, I mean, that's change, right? And that's an
Yep.
outcome.
Yep.
Um,
And that I don't see that going away.
yeah.
My women's mastermind will still be business focused, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
really, truly, I've been doing all of this stuff as it is 6 years or 10 years ago when I started. My first 6 figures was off of teaching manifestation work.
Yeah.
But I got really sick of it because I was like, I'm sick of talking about the red car. Like, I'm sick of helping people manifest a car, because the reality is they don't want a red car. They
Yeah.
want to be the person who feels the way that they feel when they're driving that red car, right?
Yeah.
Like, and that's that becoming work, and that's the becoming work of also the entrepreneurial piece too, right? So my book is called Permission to Leap, and that was never a business book. My podcast is called Big Goal Energy, and while I do talk some business on it, it's also like we all have big goals we want to create, whether that's in business, whether that's in relationships, whether that's in jobs or families, or I don't know. I think about the moment in 2015 when I sat on the top of Mount Hollywood in LA on Christmas Day and I wrote out my vision. Like, what I was like, I am unhappy with my life right now. 5 days later, I couldn't pay my rent. I was like, things are not going well.
Yeah.
Shit needs to change.
Yeah.
And I wrote out, like, what do I want? What do I truly, truly, truly want? 8 months later, I looked back and I was like, oh my God, everything minus one thing. Took me a little longer with that one thing, but I'm there. Everything I wrote on that paper in December of 2015 had become my reality in 8 months.
Wow.
And so whether that's the circle that surrounds you, like we were talking about, whether that's just, like you said, the first thing on this podcast, being grateful to wake up every day,
Yeah.
whether that's launching a business, growing a business, whether that's meeting your life partner, I don't know. I love business. Don't get me wrong. And helping individuals make more money in business is a huge passion of mine. But I've also watched way too many people sacrifice their lives for their businesses in pursuit
100%.
of it.
100%.
Like, it's just not worth it. And maybe I'm just in a new era of my life and I have different priorities, and like,
yeah, I'm feeling you. Trust me. I've gone through some of that transformation myself. I honestly, it was just end of last year. I kind of reflected and looked back at a lot of things. And so I've been nicknamed the genie because
I love that. We just rewatched Aladdin too. This is great. I love this.
But I tell people that because, like, I literally can, like, think of something, or if somebody says, hey, it'd be cool to do this, and like I will actually go and do it and execute and like do crazy things, right? Doesn't necessarily now would be knowing that I have that ability. For some reason, I have this crazy gift of bringing people together, making things happen, executing, and then also just marketing others and also myself, and just kind of like making like amazing things happen. So like just last week, I did a retreat in New York City, Times Square, and I featured everybody on a billboard in Times Square, podcasting in Times Square. We did workshops and just transformed all of our personal brands and just all got to the next level. But like that was our first time doing something in New York like that, and it was all through partnerships, relationships, all this stuff. But what I learned is that I can execute and do these things, but it doesn't necessarily mean that I have to. I have to, because what happens is sometimes my own well-being gets put aside, or my own mental health, or my own, priorities of my own life. And I'm so focused on creating the big stuff that I lose sight of myself. And that's kind of what happened last year. And I was like, no, I need to. So I'm feeling you. That change. And I'm sure a lot of entrepreneurs listening and watching can relate to this, especially when you've been in the game. I've been doing this for nearly a decade. And then also I was a hip hop artist for 11 years of my life. So I've been promoting and doing major stuff for about like 15, 20 years. It's been a long time.
And I think that this kind of is the plight of the ambitious soul, right? Like we're
Yeah.
ambitious, we're high achievers. I
Yeah.
go
High
into
achievers. Yeah.
all the stuff that most of us experienced like in high school and stuff in elementary school and stuff like that, right? Of like getting the A's and getting the grades. And I have clients that are like, can you just tell me I'm passing? And I'm like, wow, that's like,
Wow.
wow, like
Just
can you
programs. We're just programs.
yeah, can you just tell me I'm achieving enough? And it's so fascinating. And I don't know, again, maybe it was like meeting my now husband 3 years ago or whatever, but I'm like that just I also did the same thing for a very long time where I sacrificed my health, my well-being, my like, and I am just to the point where I'm like, no more. So one of the things that we didn't touch upon, I also run a nonprofit because I don't have enough to do in my life. And we have an annual conference. Well, the annual conference is happening in 3 weeks.
Okay.
And last year it almost killed me. My body stopped processing food last year. I basically didn't sleep for 6 weeks. I lost 15 pounds, which I'm pretty petite as it is. Like it was not great. And I was empty. I would talk to one of my healers and she goes, I have good news and bad news. You're literally at the bottom. Like literally you can't go any, like this is the bottom for you. You can't go any lower. And so this year in launching the conference, I was like, I can't do it again. I can't do it again. I'm not losing sleep. I'm not losing weight. I'm not losing my body's ability to function because of the levels of stress. And so it's still been a little stressful. And I've been like, okay, I can't do this again.
Yeah.
So where are we going to be next? Like, am I doing this again? Because I'm not willing to do it like this anymore. This year's better than last year, but still, I'm not doing this anymore. And I was able to sit down and get a ton of clarity. And I'm re-envisioning the entire fundraiser. And we're not even doing it next year. We're doing it in 2026. And I've just gotten to the point where I'm like, no vision or goal of mine is more important than me.
Right. Yeah. That's real talk. That's real talk. It has to be. It has to be because something's going to get sacrificed no matter what you do. And I'm glad you said that because I see I can relate to that too with 2 years ago throwing a massive large event where I rented out a sports arena and threw a massive conference there. That was crazy. The most stress ever in my life. It just was absolutely crazy. And so but everything that you're saying, like I put myself aside to make it happen because I had to make sure it happened. And it was the biggest event that I have ever thrown. So it was I know a lot of people can feel this. I didn't know that this episode would go like this.
Same.
But this is the reality of being an entrepreneur, especially when you're growing and scaling, even when you're from 6 figures, 7 figures. I mean, this is the space you live in, right? And people see the successes, people see the transformations, they see the clients or customers or whatever your business is, and they say like, man, it'd be great to be in that person's shoes. But that person sacrificed a lot to get there.
And at the end of the day, we don't get medals or accolades for sacrificing ourselves. Like no one's going to come to me at the end of my life and be like, good job. You sacrificed everything.
Right.
Like that doesn't happen. And so again, I don't know, maybe it's turning 40, maybe it's just having different priorities in my life, but it's not worth it. Like nothing is worth me. Like you said, first thing, I'm grateful to have woken up this morning. I could not say that a year ago today.
Right.
And so like nothing is worth that. Nothing is worth that. And a lot of people think, this whole hustle culture out there is like, well, you have to like do all this stuff. Why? Who said that had to be the path? What if the path could be nourishing? What if the path could be fun? What if the path could be joy-filled and connected and just like full of life and joy. And I don't know. I'm not willing to do it any other way anymore. And I protect my peace and my fulfillment and my health above all else. If there's a person in my life that's threatening it, I love you so much. Thank you for everything you brought to my life. And like, I wish you well. I've literally had like, I texted someone a few years ago and I was like, we can't be friends anymore. Like, I appreciate you. I respect you. I think you're great. I'll see you around the community, but like, we can't be friends anymore. And it's just not worth it.
Yeah. Yeah. You had to change your circle. That's what it sounds like. Put up some barriers, you know, and really like practice self-love. That's what it is. You practicing self-love, and there's certain things or people or situations that are not serving you. And I think the whole like hustle culture, because I'm an overachiever, I'm 50-50 on the hustle culture, because I think that's also about timing. So like you've seen the other side of the hustle culture. So I think now like you have every right to say, hey, it's not worth it. This is how I'm going to prioritize. But also because you hustled all that time, you now have a base to work off of. You have a foundation to work off. The other flip side to that coin is people that don't want to try it all. They just want it super easy. Yes. And they're thinking like, hey, I want it to be fun. Like, look, sometimes it's not going to be fun. You got to do things that just get you, you know, that actually get the engine going. But I think to both of our points, it's more about having some level of just, first of all, awareness. So that way you don't go too deep into one side. Cause there's seasons in life. Yes. So it might be a, hey, couple months, I'm turning on the gas. I'm going all out. And then a couple more months, like, hey, now I'm recovering. I'm recharging. I'm taking care. I'm spending more time with family. I'm taking care of more of myself. So I think it's also about being aware that this stuff is actually happening to you. Because I know as a high achiever entrepreneur, we're oftentimes not aware that it's even happening until you blink and it's like 5 years later and you're like, whoa.
And I will check myself in those seasons as well. So like I do things like I have a timer that sits on my desk and I will give myself like, okay, I have to get these 3 things done and I'm going to time myself and I just have to get them done. Right. So saying I'm anti-hustle culture doesn't mean I'm not taking action.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm way more purposeful about what actions I take. One of my mentors yesterday asked me, how can you achieve your goal with the least possible effort? And I was like,
I love that question.
I was like, oh, well, I had no answer. It's come to me now over the last week.
Yeah. I love that question.
Things like if I know that I have a big week ahead, I spend Sunday meal prepping. I pre-make a week's worth of smoothies. You know, I prep to make sure I have the food in my fridge that can be like grab and go. I make sure that, you know, the pets are taken care of. Like I set things up to know that in a season of a lot of things happening, like the next 3 weeks in preparation for this event, I'm going to set myself up differently than I would if it were just a normal week. Right. And so there's ways to still nourish yourself and have fun. I also keep my cell phone sitting right here and I play fun music while I'm working because it keeps me in that vibe. Right.
Yeah.
Like, I think that there are ways even in those like hustle seasons to keep that joy and to keep that. I'll like go outside the shed and just put my feet on the ground, like grounding myself for 2 minutes, or I don't know. There's so many things, but I've just learned that if I'm not doing those things for myself in those seasons of hustle, then I will end up back at the bottom of that bucket like I was a year ago.
And we don't want to be there. We don't. Nope. This podcast got real, people. This podcast got real.
It's all I can do. I don't sugarcoat things and I don't show up.
No, it's great. It's the truth. And people need to know. So I got two questions before I let you get out of here.
Yes.
Okay. So one question, actually, because this is a good segue. If people are in a position right now, because I know a lot of different people that may let's say they're working their corporate job and they're trying to transition into entrepreneurship, or they maybe just recently got laid off, and they're trying to figure out what's next. And they're thinking about, hey, maybe do I do consulting, coaching? Do I do entrepreneurship? Do I launch that thing that I'm working on? Or do I go back into the workforce and do it? What is your hot take on taking the leap and when the timing is right?
Okay. So, first of all, my book is called Permission to Leap. So if you're like, yep, I want to do the leap, go grab yourself a copy. It will literally walk you through the entire process. The second thing I will say is do not make a decision from your present perspective, because your present perspective is only going to get you results aligned with where you are right now. You've got to hop in to the 5 year from now you. What would they do? Will they, if you go back into the corporate arena, and I'm not saying like either way, if it's the right move for you, by all means, go back into corporate. But if you go back into the corporate arena, is the 5 year from you now going to regret that they didn't take the steps now?
Yeah.
And I will say too, sometimes the answer is both. Sometimes the answer is, yes, I need to go get a job just to make sure my basic needs are taken care of. And I'm going to get a job that allows me the freedom and time to be able to build my business on the side. I had, for the first 8 years of entrepreneurship, I had a full-time job. And now I like whittled it down. I started full-time and whittled it down to 10 hours a week. But that's what allowed me to become a full-time entrepreneur, was because I had a day job. So also widening the lens a little bit too, and saying it's not necessarily one or the other. Sometimes it's both. But go ask your future self. And actually in that book, there is a resource for you to do my future self meditations. You can literally just go meet your future self and ask them, like, if you were in my shoes today, what would you do? Because wasn't there a quote from Albert Einstein that's like, you can't solve a problem from the same level of thinking that it was created?
Yeah.
So don't solve your problem from your current level of thinking, because it's just going to put you back in a situation soon where you're back in another problem. Solve the problem from your 1, 3, 5 year from now self, and let them show you what's available to you.
That's deep. That's deep, man.
Sorry.
Well, it's good. It gives people something that they can actionably do, as far as looking at, because I think that's a great question to ask themselves when they're thinking about making that transition or taking the leap. Definitely grab your book. That also helps. But it's just about thinking about things not from the lens of today. You're thinking about the lens from 5 years from now, and also not living with any regrets. I think that's the other thing. Like, just don't live with any regrets, and it's going to be a little painful. And I think that's what people are most scared of, is the pain that they have to maybe endure with the switch. But in change and getting out of your comfort zone of anything, you're going to feel a level of discomfort. You're going to feel some pain.
Well,
and
one of my
you kind of have to go through it.
Yeah, one of my girlfriends a few years ago, I was like having some growing pains around some decision I was making or something. And she looked at me and she goes, Bri, you are currently in labor, giving birth to what your new normal is going to be. She said, so if you were in labor with like a real baby, do you know what I'd say to you? Push a little harder. And she was, I looked at her and I was like, that is not the advice and she's like, it's going to be painful. So you want to give birth to this thing, you're in labor, get over it and keep pushing. And I was like, and that advice has stuck with me. That would have been 2013 or 2014. I mean, that advice has stuck with me for 10 years. So just saying,
it's great advice.
Labor, I've never been through it. I will never go through it. And from what I know, labor is not a delicate, easy, painless process.
There's not doves floating in the room, and a ray of sunshine comes through the window. Yeah. No, that's it's actually a great analogy for it. You got to keep pushing and you got to keep going in that direction. The last question I have for you. So you are an amazing speaker. I know our audience is a lot of people that are also trying to grow their brand and their business. And one avenue through that is getting on more stages. So how have you been able to get on more stages? You just said that you spoke like last week. Um, how do you get on more stages and be able to get these opportunities?
Yeah. First thing I will say is relationships. And the second thing I will say is self-advocacy. So people think, and people say this to me too, about like, I've been on Good Morning America. I won't say the Today Show because that one doesn't apply to this. I've been featured in Forbes. I've been a lot of places. I have a TEDx. I'm getting ready to apply for my next TEDx. I like all these things. It's because I put myself out there to do it. To a point, until you're like at a certain level, which I will say probably most of us, potentially myself included, will never reach, like they're not calling you.
Right.
You have to, so get on lists to apply to speak places, search out opportunities, make relationships with event planners. Like that is how I have gotten on most of my stages. And I will even say, like, the woman whose TEDx I spoke at was a client of mine. At like the TEDx I'm about to apply to, I'm being encouraged to apply by someone who's on the board of the TEDx because I built a relationship with them, right? Like, so to a point, they're not calling you unless you go massively, massively, massively viral. And I will even say at this point in the game, 10 years ago, I went massively, massively viral. I had an article that was written that was read on all 7 continents. It was translated into 5 different languages. It went viral. The Today Show called me. That is the only time that has ever happened. The Good Morning America segment was pitched by my publicist. The TED Talk was pitched by me. The next TED Talk will be pitched by me. The stage I was just on, I know the woman because she's speaking on my stage. And I was like, here's the deal. Let's swap. So like that's how you get on stages and you got to start somewhere. Start with small local stages. Go to your chamber, go to local networking groups, go to like start building the repertoire, film yourself while you're on these smaller stages, start putting it out there, get a speaker reel together, and then you have got to pitch yourself. The last thing I'll say on this, you got to get really specific about what you're speaking on as well.
Yes.
I've had people come to me and say like, oh, I want to speak on your stage. And I'm like, cool. What do you speak on? Well, I'll speak on anything. And I was like, we don't need
we don't need anything.
We don't need anything. We're looking for very specific things. And if you fit that, cool, we can have a conversation. But like, get very specific. What are the 3 talks that you give? You can always have also build your own talk. Like I'll do custom talks. But what are the 3 things that you could bring to someone's stage and what is the value of it to the attendees? Then pitch yourself.
That's gold. Yeah, because you got to be known for something. That's also what a lot of times what we teach is like you have to be known for something. And what is that thing? And what is that thing that you do effortlessly that when other people look at you and when you're talking about that or when you're doing that thing, they're like, wow, you just do that just so naturally. Because it's got to be something you're so comfortable with that you can speak to an audience on stage that, especially, you're going to get questions. You're going to get questions and you better be ready to answer those questions. So like to your point, Bri, you have to be an expert. You have to be an expert into what you're talking about and don't just say, I can talk on anything. Like we don't need that. We don't need it at all. We need people that know what they're doing and live it and breathe it. And you can also share it with others. So that way they can receive the information as well. You might be great at what you do, but you got to be willing to share it too, in an impactful way that people can actually take action, and really learn from it. So I think this has been absolutely fantastic episode that actually I didn't know where this was fully going to go. And that's like the beauty of this.
When we talked like a month ago, I was getting on. I was like, okay, Jamar and I are talking about holistic business strategy today and the ecosystems through which we like totally was like prepping myself. And then it popped up in my calendar and it said with Bri Seeley, the entrepreneur coach. And I was like, am I just going to pretend that that's not going away today? Or am I going? And here we are. So
Here we are. But it's been a banger episode. This has been a fantastic episode. Can you let everybody know where they can find you and how they can get connected? We'll also have a bunch of links when this gets posted.
Yep. So the best place to connect with me right now is Instagram. It's Bri Seeley, BRISEELEY. My website is up, but it's not updated as of the time of this recording. So probably by the end of the year, I will have a new website, and that website is briseeley.com. But I have a ton of offerings that are not even up on my website. If you feel resonant at all with anything I said, just email me or DM me on Instagram, and we can just connect. I wish I had a better, this is the thing though about having a personal brand, is that I'm always in evolution and my brand needs to evolve with me. And it's like, I just, keeping up with it as best I can. I keep hoping there will be a day where I'm like, I'm there. Yeah, I've arrived. I don't know if it's coming. I don't know if it's going to happen, but we'll see.
I'm hoping it does happen for you. I'm still waiting for that as well. About the you arrived moment. There's definitely been like certain moments where I'm like, oh wow, look what I created. There's been some of those, but not like the you arrived moment yet. I'm waiting too, so maybe we can celebrate together. I
thought the entrepreneur coach was it. I thought really 5 years ago, I was like, this is it. I'm number one on Google. I've made it. I'm like, this is my brand for the rest of my life. Surprise.
Yep. Well, I'm excited to see where you go next. I know everybody, please like and follow Bri's journey as well. And I know I'm going to be tuning in as well and see kind of where you evolve to, what happens if success coach is it, or if it's something else, who knows? But I like that we got to really get deep today and talk about some things that I think a lot of people are feeling, and it's not all easy in entrepreneurship. And that's honestly what this podcast is all about. So thank you so much for being on the episode. And for everybody listening and watching, please like, comment, and subscribe to the Forever Podcast. We're streaming on all platforms. We got so many amazing guests, so many amazing conversations just like this. So please subscribe to it. And don't forget, you can change your circle, you can change your life. And we'll see you guys on the next episode. Peace. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that notification bell for more amazing content that we're going to be putting out. And don't forget, you can change your circle to change your life.